Okay, so today what we will discuss, today we will cover question based on component and question based on scenario. Okay, here as I mentioned, you must have at least intermediate knowledge of Mulesoft, then only this training program will be helpful. If you are completely beginner, then this training program will not be helpful. And here my objective is not only give you like answer of these questions. I will try to cover like that particular concept also. I will give you more in-depth knowledge, and then I will explain how you will answer that particular question. As of now, my understanding is you people are lacking with confidence, like how you can answer this particular question. Like you did practice conceptually, but whenever it comes in interview, then you are unable to explain in proper words. Okay, so that part we will cover here. It will not be only theoretical session. For few places I will explain in on any point studio also. We will develop small POC code and we'll see behavior to explain that particular scenario or maybe to particular theoretical question also. Okay, so we'll try to cover in every way. It's not only like interview preparation session, it's a kind of I will share knowledge in concept wise also, and I will explain that particular question also. Okay, fine. So here today we are going to cover this 25 question based on like component and connector. Same way, like daily basis, like I will come with almost 35 to 50 question, and daily we will discuss that 35 to 50 question. So first 2 to 3 day we will cover all those questions. We will cover question based on component, connector and scenario. Okay, so here you can see like for today I covered almost 25 question on component and connector, and then we will discuss 10 scenario based question. So this is our today agenda. Okay, slowly I will keep adding, but as I mentioned, document side I will not provide document. I will provide you recording. Okay, if I will give you the document, then you will just remember that, and that will not be helpful. Okay, so I want you to understand concept also. If you are lacking in concept, you will get concept also. So I will provide this recorded video for that. Okay, now let's move to discussion. So here actually I covered initially, I took very basic question from different component connectors, and in scenario also we have very basic question. Slowly we will keep increasing levels. Okay, now whenever
Could you please zoom in?
Okay.
Actually, very font is very low.
Okay. It should be fine now.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Okay. So here our first question is like difference between flow, subflow and private flow. Private flow is missing here. So this question you will get very frequently, and this is like very initial part of our Mulesoft development. Okay, whenever we go for any development, first thing we need to create either flow, subflow or private flow. Without that we will not able to configure any component. Whatever component we use to configure, that must come inside flow or subflow or private flow. So this question will contain come very frequently. So first thing, flow contains source, process and error handling. Okay, so how it will looks like, let me show you in Anypoint Studio. So what I will do, I will drag and drop one flow and I will drag and drop one subflow. Then you will able to see proper difference. This is our flow and this is our subflow. And this question will come very frequently. Okay. So here you can see flow contains source, process and error handling. It contains three components. Like it divided into three parts: source, process and error handling. But if you see this subflow, this contain only process. Okay. So who will do error handling of this particular subflow? So subflow must be called by any flow. It will not work independently unless until you have any scheduler process or anything. Oh, even like, oh sorry, we can't configure scheduler also here. If we need scheduler based process, again we need flow. Okay, so this subflow will not work independently. This is like helping flow this for this main flow or flow. So in flow we will have source. In source we configure like how we are going to expose our API. It will be REST API, then we will use HTTP listener. It will be file based API, then we will use file connector. If it will be like a scheduler based API, then we will configure scheduler here. So source will contain how we are going to expose our API to external world. Okay. Then process. Here we define all our business logic. In process section we define all our business logic. So we have lots of component to achieve our business logic. And in error handling, like what due to which scenario, sorry, in error handling we will define error handler who will catch error created by this flow. Okay, and will handle that error inside this error handling. Okay, so flow will contain source, process, error handling, but subflow will contain only process. So subflow is helping flow for this, helping like you can say component of flow. It doesn't contain any error handling. Okay, and it doesn't contain any source. Everyone okay with this? So you can mention 3 points here. One is flow contain source, process and error handling. Subflow contain only process. Flow we can configure independently, but subflow we can't configure independently. It's always helping part of this flow. We will call this subflow using either from flow or subflow. And third difference we have, flow contains their own error handling, but subflow rely on parent flow error handling. It doesn't has their own error handling. So you can tell these three difference, compare like what is difference between flow and subflow. Now another component I mentioned, private flow. So private flow is nothing but this flow only. If flow will not contain this source, then that flow will be private flow. If that flow will contain source, then we will term it as a flow, and if it doesn't contain source, then it will be private flow. So only this difference is there between flow and private flow. Hope everyone clear with this.
Yeah, Ravi. Ravi, can we give this answer for the question explain me about the flow structure in Mule?
Flow structure in Mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can answer.
Yeah.
Okay, and last we have private flow. if flow does not contains this source. Okay, fine.
Hey Ravi,
Yes.
just to add one point in here,
Yeah, tell me.
on subflow, by using triscope, we can add error handler, right?
By adding
Triscope.
okay, yeah, that's true, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. We can add error
Mhm.
handling, but it always like it does that means error will be handled means it doesn't has their own error handler. It always depend on either flow error handler, or if we want we can configure try block to handle error. Okay,
Yeah.
in simple
Yeah.
term we can say subflow doesn't contain is their it's their own error handling.
Yeah, they're all handle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So I hope everyone clear with this question. Now we are moving for second question. What is on error continue and on error propagate component in Mulesoft? Okay, and let me add one more point. What is rage error component? Okay, so this question will also come very frequently. Okay, in if you will attend 10 interviews, so I can say like in 7 interview you will get this question. So first thing,
Ravi, for the first question, I'm sorry.
yeah, tell me.
So, is there any scenario that we can use soft flow and private flow?
Okay, yeah. So if we have scenario like our source, like we must need to include source system, then we must need flow. We can't use subflow and we can't use private flow if it will contain source. If you see here, so if we have this, if we need to configure source, then we must need to use this flow, since this subflow doesn't contain any source, and private flow is flow only which doesn't contain any source. Okay, so if we will have scenario like we must need to configure source system, then we must need to use this flow.
I understand that. My question is like, which one we have to prefer? Is that private flow or soft flow? I know the parent flow we have to have it, but to
Okay,
choose
okay, subflow and this private flow.
private flow.
So it depends on like again business scenario. If you need error handling, then you should use this private flow. If you don't need, like for whatever business scenario you are defining inside subflow, or whatever business scenario you are defining in private flow, like whatever business scenario you want to separate from this main flow, if that business scenario needs its own error handling, then you should go with private flow. If that business scenario, whatever you are separating in subflow or private flow, doesn't need any on error handling, then you should select this subflow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so next question, like what is error on error continue, on error propagate, and this rage error component. Okay, as I mentioned, this question will come very frequently. So first component is on error continue. So this on error continue component catch error. Okay, whenever there will be error in your flow, that error will be catched by this error handler component. It can be either on error continue or it can be on error propagate. So if on error continue will catch that error, then after processing, whatever processing we will do inside on error continue, after processing it will send 200, it will send success. Okay, let me configure one on error continue here, and let me configure one on error propagate here. So whenever there will be any error in this particular flow, so then who will catch that error? it will be cached by either on error continue or on error propagate. So you need to define type here. So which type you are going to handle in on error continue and which type you are going to handle in on error propagate. If you will not define type, then by default it will be any. Any means all error. Okay, and if you are defining okay, so if it will be cached by on error continue, so that error will be handled here, and as a response it will send success. So whoever calling this, like from, so after this where our flow will go in response part. In normal scenario, like if there will be any error, it will come here, whatever processing we will do here, it will execute, and then it will send response to HTTP listener. If in source system we have HTTP listener, then HTTP listener will get 200 in case of on error continue. In case of on error propagate, this component will catch error, okay, and it will do required processing, and then it will send error response. Okay, so only difference is there. On error continue catch error and it sends success response. On error propagate will catch error and it will send error response. Okay, so this will be difference between on error continue and on error propagate component. Another component we have, they will ask about what is rage error component. So here question may come in different way. So first question for this rage error component may come like what is this rage error component, and second question may come how we can handle this business error. Okay, let me divide this question into two parts. I'm not sure I have covered this question or not, but this is a very important question also. Like one question may come like this: what is rage error component? Second question may come, or how to handle error in Mule. Okay, now again one more question will come here. Okay, so we'll start from this, what is technical error or business error. So technical error means like whenever you will do some technical mistake in your code. For example, you have written some wrong data weave. Okay, your file connector is not working. File connector have some connectivity issue. You configured something, but whatever detail you provided, that is creating problem. So if error will come due to technical issue or due to like incorrect code, whatever code you have written, if that is creating problem, then that will called as technical error. Okay, so whatever like in most of the cases, whatever error you are seeing at this moment, whenever you are doing development, you are getting some error. 90% errors are technical error only, or you can say like 100%. I'm not sure like anyone observed this business error or not. And what is business error? So business will give you some requirement, some error scenario. What error scenario they will give? For example, if they have some website where they want to block user having like age less than 18 years. Okay, so in that case what they will do means they will apply some business logic or for example, you are going for some online driving registration. Okay, for getting this driving license, there should be some age limit. Let's say it's 20 year or 22 year. Now some driving school is there, they are developing one website. So their business team will tell you, like, if someone is doing registration and having age less than 22 year, then don't allow them to do registration. We don't want to unnecessary maintain, we don't want to maintain too much data unnecessary. Okay, so in that case, what you will do, whenever you will develop your registration API, you will check that particular user age is less than 22 year or more than 22 year. If it is more than 22 year, then only you will allow him to do registration. Otherwise you will raise one error. If age, you will check condition, if age is less than 22 year, then send means then you want to send some error message. So if it's coming due to code, Mulesoft code, due to connectivity or due to some other reason, then that is technical error. And if due to business logic you want to raise some error, then that error is known as business error. Now on top of this, there will be another question, how we can handle business error. To handle business error, we have raise error component. Okay, so with the help of this component, we can raise error. Okay, so hope everyone clear. Now if you want to see it practically, so here we can see we have raise error component. Okay, and how we will use this, let me take choice here. So what I will do here, I will check where's dot age less than equals to 22. If it is less than equals to 22, then what I will do, I will raise one error, and you need to define type of that particular error. Okay, now to define type, you must need to follow proper syntax. To define type, we have syntax. It should be divided into two parts. One is prefix, another one is name. So prefix, you should not use any predefined keywords of Mulesoft. For example, here we are going to define this age for registration. So prefix, I will use registration, and then colon, and then age restriction. Okay, this is just a convention, we should use this capital camel case on capital letter only, and it should be divided into two parts. One is prefix, another one is error name, and here you can give description also. Like this. Okay, so with the help of this component, what we are doing, it's not a technical error. Means if age will be less than 22, in our code it will not create any problem and entire execution will be completed. But here we have business requirement, if age is less than 22 year, then send some error message. I just took one example, it can be different scenario can be there. Okay, now this component will raise this error, and if you want to handle this particular error, then if you haven't defined this type anywhere, then it will be handled by any, and if you will define this type to handle by this on error continue, so you need to define this type here. Okay, so in this way you can define this. Here also you can see, when whatever raise error component, whatever type you will add, automatically you will get in your any in error type. If you will search here, go to search, and you will able to see it's not coming. Okay, fine, it will not come, you can add manually. Okay, so this is our raise error component, and
Ravi?
yes.
Yeah, here actually, come to studio, like, so here actually, like you're handling this error like age restriction, and on the error handling you are continuing, like, so what will be the status code here in this case?
So you need to define, na? Like whatever status code you are giving on error continue. So status code will be by default 200. If you want to modify, you can update that one also.
Oh, okay, okay.
Since so you are developer, you can put in case of success also you can send some other error code. Okay, it's
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ravi,
yes.
like this type of error we can also check in data wave, and it will go to that another continue or propagate, no, Ravi. Instead of increasing this code and all, we can go for that.
How in data weave how you will raise error? In data weave we don't have any logic to raise error.
No, Ravi, there we cannot raise error, but we can check, no, like how much the EAG we are getting from the input.
Yes.
And
And
then
then
from there, if it fails, means it will go to that another propagator.
how it will fail? In data wave you will check like it's a less than or greater than. It will not fail in data wave, no? You can just in data wave you can check like it's a less than 22 or it's a greater than 22, but it will not fail.
Yeah, okay, Ravi, like.
Okay, are you clear with this, like what you mentioned?
Yeah, Ravi, I'm clear. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, fine.
That's it.
Then we are moving to third question. Okay, this one is also like very basic question and it will come very frequently. Okay, so this is a kind of theoretical question. It's like here we will discuss about this architecture of like what architecture we commonly follow in Mulesoft. So we follow this API LED architecture. Okay, so like in this API LED architecture they will be more interested like are you following this architecture or not. Okay, and then they will be like interviewer will be interested like to know what kind of development you do on which layer. So here I will suggest start with system layer. So here we have three layers: system layer, process layer and experience layer. So in system layer we develop API that will connect with external system. So external system can be anything. It can be database, it can be Salesforce, it can be file system, it can be like third party API. So whenever we want to connect with external system, we should develop system API. Okay, in system API generally we don't put any business logic. We simply connect with external system and it will send response to process layer. Now process API or process layer will be intermediate level or intermediate layer between system layer and experience layer. Okay, so in process layer we like mostly apply business logic. So whatever business logic we have, so we should apply on process layer. Okay, and it works as a intermediate layer between system and experience. And experience layer or experience API we use to expose our API to external system. Okay, it's responsible to provide response to external world. It can be different experience system. Okay, for example mobile application, web application, desktop application, not desktop, we have some like that particular client has their own legacy system that also want to call this API. Okay, then we create a different set of experience API. Now you will come like here there may be multiple like cross question on this particular thing. Okay, so even if we have multiple experience system, why will not create one experience API? Why we are unnecessarily creating 3 experience API or 2 experience API? So here like there are many concerns. Due to that we are developing different experience API. For example, your client has their own internal system or internal experience system, where they don't have facility of this JWT token or OAuth, what you must need to apply for web application and this desktop application, web application or mobile application. So in that case, whatever experience API you will develop for mobile application and web application, it will not work for their internal application what they have. And for example, that internal application or experience system they are using inside their premise, with like inside their network, so there they are applying different kind of security. Or maybe you may have requirement like you are developing some API, and if there is mobile user, then they will have some limited access only. If they are like web user, then they will have full access. So there may be some difference in data, set of data. Mobile application may need different set of data, web application may need different set of data. In that case also you need different experience system. So that's why in experience layer we develop API to expose, we are exposing, using experience layer we are exposing our API to external world. Okay, now it's not mandatory always to develop separate experience API for mobile application or for web application or whatever external system we have. It's not mandatory, it depends on requirement. If required, then only we will create separate experience system, otherwise it will be only one experience API. Okay, everyone clear with this answer? And okay, and second point, like why we follow this API LED architecture. So this API LED architecture, it's not a new concept what Mulesoft has given, it's like existing concept only. If you are from Java background or from .NET background, then you must heard about this this microservice architecture. So in microservice architecture what we do, like it's like a reverse of this monolithic architecture, where like everything in monolithic architecture what we do, we put every logic, every coding inside one, like it will be entire application will be one set of code. Okay, so what will happen if there will be any error or if there will be any code break, then our entire functionality will stop working. So to avoid that kind of problem, what we do in this microservice architecture, we need to identify small functionality, and we need to develop it as a small API. Okay, you need to find smallest unit and you need to develop it separately. And then what will happen, if there will be any code break, then only few part of our business will be impacted, it will not impact entire business. Okay, so let me take one diagram. So if you see here this diagram, if there will be any problem with this particular part, then what will happen, this functionality will stop working, this functionality will stop working, but this functionality will keep running. For example, if there will be any code break in, like if there will be any issue with this particular code, then what will happen, only this functionality will stop working, this and this will still keep working. So first advantage we will have in API LED architecture, like our development task will be very easy. So what we are doing, we are dividing our code into small parts, so development will be very easy. Second thing, like if there will be any code break, then it will impact only limited part of our business, limited part of our system. It will not impact entire system, only limited part will be impacted. And third point we will have here, like here we can reuse code. Okay, so if you see here, this particular part of code is reused by this also and this also. So two API using this part. Okay, So if like more number of application will keep increasing here, then maybe in future this API will be used by some new application also. So our development effort will reduce in that case. Okay, when our system will keep getting complex, then it will save our development effort also. On initial level our development effort will be more. Okay, if they will ask what is disadvantage of this API LED architecture, so on initial point of view, like our development effort will be more, since instead of developing one API we are developing 3 API here. So obviously like some development effort will increase. But if you will think on later point of view, when your system will be more complex, then it will save your effort, it will save your money, it will save like you will able to reuse component many places. Okay, so all those things you can mention in this particular question, like what is API LED architecture, what is advantage and what is disadvantage. Any question on this?
Yeah. So it is mandatory to create 3 APIs for every time.
Sorry, your question is not clear.
So it is mandatory 3 APIs for every
No,
time.
it's not mandatory. Okay, now you need to understand your client requirement. Okay, so if you see like they really need this experience layer, then only develop experience layer. Since okay, that is another one disadvantage. If you will create more layer, then we need more number of V code. Okay, so it will increase cost of your project.
Okay. How can you make the communication between 3 layers?
Okay, so there are two way of communication. In 99% cases you will use that one, that is HTTP API. You will develop REST API. Your system API will be REST API. Using HTTP requester you will call system API from process API. Same way process API will be exposed as a REST API. Your experience layer you will use HTTP requester to call that process API. Okay, and second way we have, like you can expose that API as a connector and you can use that connector to call your system or process API, but very rarely you will use that one. Is it clear?
Okay.
Okay, so what all advantage we discuss, anyone want to mention? So first, code reusability.
To track bugs easily.
Easy to maintain. Sorry.
Here I am telling the advantage, like to track bugs easily.
Yeah. Easy to maintain. In case of code break, only limited functionality will be impacted. Okay, and what is disadvantage? Starting development effort, development and cost. Will be more. Okay, at the starting point your development effort will be more, since you are splitting one API in 3 parts. Okay, then due to multiple layer, costing will increase. Okay, it will increase your costing a bit. Okay, maybe in like in long run it may be like same, but at the starting your costing will be high, since you are, instead of deploying one application you are deploying three application. Okay, so I think this much of answer should be more than enough. Okay, now one question from this connector side. This question also, like many students I reported, they are getting this question very frequently. What is like file connector, FTP connector, and SFTP connector? So if you see here in a
Ravi,
yes,
here one question I have. I have been asking what is the difference between fan in and fan out, and in which layer you use fan in, like the system or process or experience layer. So
okay,
can
okay.
you answer this one?
Yeah, actually that question I also have like I have seen, but this term actually I'm not using very frequently, so I need to check
Okay.
that particular actually where exactly they are using this term fan in and fan out. Maybe like whatever term I am using, that can be different, but somewhere I have seen this fan in and fan out. Okay, just tomorrow we will discuss that
Okay.
part. I have seen, but
Okay.
maybe whatever term I am using, that is not fan in fan out. So
Okay.
like there are many term in project to project, or maybe like that can be standard term also, but I'm not using that term, so I'm not familiar at this moment. But I have seen
Okay.
somewhere, so I need to go through and I need to understand.
Okay. Thank you.
You just
Ravi,
mention this in our WhatsApp group, okay? So there I will get recall, like whenever I will see chat, then I will go through.
Ravi,
Okay.
while explaining about this API architecture, you
Yeah.
told like you used one word like legacy system. What is mean by legacy system?
Okay, legacy system, like for example, some company is there, okay, and they have their own system to perform some business, okay, and they are running that system from long time, okay, so that those system are legacy system. For example, nowadays we are dependent, everyone started using this SaaS product, software as a service. Everything is there available on market. Whatever things you want, just purchase and you configure it and you start using. But previously, like we don't have this concept like software as a service, SaaS. Previously, like if company need any business thing, like if they need any system, then they need to develop their own system. Okay, so in that
Okay.
case what will happen, like development cost will be very high, then whatever new system you are developing, again it will take too much time. Okay, this can be like interview question also. Nowadays, now legacy system is almost like gone from market. Like everyone start using SaaS product, so that's why maybe you will not get this question very frequently, but someone may ask like what is legacy system. Okay, so I hope I'm like you are clear with the answer.
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah. Okay, let me add this question also. Maybe at this moment this question will come very rarely, but yeah, this can come.
Ravi, and we'll also get like what is the file size that you have handled, and what is the polling mechanism for that? How did you
Okay.
secure the files?
Okay, okay. We'll try to cover all those questions. At this moment, I plan to cover very basic of file, but if you want to know, then yes, definitely we can cover all those things. Okay. Then let me pull that question here on bottom, so we can add multiple scenario based question on top of that. Okay, then I'm pulling this question on bottom, so we can add few more question here. So first question, like this one is very basic question. What is file connector, what is FTP connector, and what is SFTP connector? Okay, so let's start with file connector. So first you need to before that, first you need to understand we we have three kind of file system. One is local file system, what we have this folder structure, you can see. Okay, whatever folder structure we have in our local system, that is our local file system. So wherever your application is hosted, okay, so that server will contain some folder structure, folder system, that will be their local file system. If this file server is hosted on some other server, it's not on their like on server, then that will be remote file server. Okay, and if that remote file server is secured by SFTP protocol, then it will be like SFTP file server. Everyone clear with this? If file system is in local, then it will be local file system. If file system is on remote server, means some other server, then it will be remote file server. And if that remote file server is secured by SFTP protocol, then it will be secured file protocol, secured file server. Now if we want to connect with local file system, then we will use this file connector. This file connector will use to connect with local file system. This FTP connector will use to connect with remote file system. Okay, and this SFTP connector will be used to connect with secure file system. Means in remote location, if file server is secured by SFTP protocol, to connect with that file system we need SFTP connector. So in Anypoint Studio also you can see here on connector we have file FTP and somewhere it should be SFTP. Okay, on configuration side FTP, so here you need to provide host port detail and file path, like what is your host. If it is local file, then you can give local host, or you can use, if you know IP, then you can give that IP. And then port you need to define where you have created your local file system, and then file path, like to which file folder you want to connect, you need to define all these things. If it is like FTP, where is FTP one? Oh, we configure I think FTP only. So let me take now file one. Okay, so this one is file one and this one is FTP one. So there will be one difference in connection detail in local and file one. If you open local one, then you need to see, you don't need to give any like host and port. Actually, like ideally it will take automatically local host and local port, you don't need to define here. Okay, but if you go in this FTP one, you need to define host, port and username and password. You need to provide all this detail. Okay, and then same for SFTP also. In SFTP also you need to define host, port, username and password. Only difference will be there, it will not be secured by any SFTP protocol, and SFTP one will be secured by SFTP protocol. Now, like as someone asked, like how much file size we can support, our Mule application can support. Okay, So there is no fixed rule for that, like how much file it can support. So that will depend on your resources, how much resources you are going to provide to that particular mule application. If you are running on 0.1 v code, then it will able to support smaller size of file. If you are going to use 0.2 v code, then it will support bigger file, like compared to 0.1 v code, it will support bigger file. If you are going to use this 1 v code, then it will support more bigger file. Okay, so file size will depend on your v code size. Okay, since v code will contain this caching, okay, heap size. Okay, so actually like our heap size will decide. So whatever heap size is there, so ideally you should take like it's not hard and fast rule, but somewhere like during my previous experience, somewhere in some document or maybe some from some expert person, I heard this, like whatever heap size is there for that particular application, you should use maximum 1/4 of that particular heap size. Your file size should be 1/4 of that particular heap size. Okay, and whatever analysis I did, if you are using 0.1 v code, 10 to 20 MB it will able to support. If you are planning for more than 20 MB, then you should go with 0.2 v code or maybe 1 v code. Okay, but there is no hard and fast rule like it will able to support only 20 MB or only 10 MB. Okay,
No, by default, Mule has to support some file size, right? So what is the file size?
file threads.
Size.
Okay, as I mentioned, like it depends on like your whenever you will start your application. Okay, that application will get some heap memory. Okay, it depends like how much heap is available. It depends on like what all other application using that heap, what all other API using that heap. Whatever heap is available at that moment, okay, you should take file size of 1/4 of that heap size. Okay, in 0.1 v code, I think heap size will be, I'm not sure, they are providing 500 MB data, like 500 MB RAM in 0.1 v code, but heap size I'm not 100% sure. But exact size actually I need to test then, like what maximum size it can support in 0.1 v code. That you can also do some small POC. Okay, but it will depend on your allocation, how much v code you are giving. Based on your v code, you can keep increasing file size. If you want to consume bigger file, for example, if you are getting 50 MB file and 0.1 v code is not supporting that 50 MB, it depends on other thing also, like it will not depend only your file size. After in your this particular API, what all component you used, what all operation you are doing. Okay, so based on your API complexity, you will able to identify how much file size it will support. As of now, like I have tested with maximum 20 MB of file, and it worked perfectly in 0.1 v code. Okay,
What is the file pattern that you have used is the other question that have been asked in the interview.
so like question we will discuss one by one. If you have any extra question, then we will discuss at the end. Okay, so like we are deviating from our topic. Currently we are focusing on this file connector, but we are going to some other place, so I don't want to deviate from this place. You whatever extra question, if we will not cover, or if you will find any related topic, then you can ask, I will definitely answer. Since someone asked question related to file, then yes, definitely we should cover this at this moment only. I hope you are okay, like agree with this point. Otherwise, like we will keep deviating from our topic. Okay, So first question, like everyone now should be able to answer, like what is difference between these three. Now if they will ask about file size, then till 0.1 vcore you can simply say like we have tested for till 20 MB, it's supporting. If you want bigger file size, then yes, it's possible. Then what we need to do, we need to do vertical scaling. Okay, in vertical scaling what we do, we are increasing size of vcore. If we will increase, if we will do vertical scaling, then we can support bigger file also.
Ravi, in this case, 20 MB means like 20 MB file you're reading it. That's what
Yes.
supporting, right?
Yes, 20 MB I have processed successfully. If you want to check
So,
more than 20 MB, then you can do
so it's
small
like
PC. Yeah.
just one thing, like in like you're connecting to one server and you're reading from that, like SFTP connector, something you're using.
Yes.
So daily we are reading. So that is a scenario. Like
Yeah.
like daily some files will be kept there. So it is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
total size of that files, or one file say should be 20
No, no.
MB
While
max.
processing, like, see, you will process file one by one. Okay. So
Okay,
one
okay.
file should be 20 maximum. Like I have tested till 20 MB. Maybe it can support more than 20 MB also. But
Yeah, understood. But the
yeah.
one file size for
Yes.
processing time, like one by one it
Process.
process. So one file size should be maximum 20 MB. It will be supporting.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Yeah. Then again, like after you, if you are completing that processing in 5 minutes or maybe 2 minutes, after again 2 minutes, you can take new file with 20 MB. Then again you will process in 2 minutes. Then again you will take new file with 20 MB of data.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, so here I am adding that related question.
Here, Ravi, file pooling, file intervals.
Okay, yeah, that part I will cover here. What maximum? Oh, okay, today I will try with 100 MB. I think we have 500 MB in 0.1 vcore. We have 500 MB RAM. That should not be heap size. That should be something different. Okay, I will try with more than 20 MB. We'll see what maximum file size Mule application can support. Okay, so here you can answer like till this point. We'll update this part tomorrow. Till this point, 20 MB we processed using 0.1 vcore. vcore. Okay, but like if we have bigger file size and it's not supported by 0.1 vcore, then we can do vertical scaling. So this vertical scaling is a term. This vertical scaling means we are increasing size of vcore, like we are changing size of worker. So worker is turned like we have 8 kind of worker. 0.1 vcore worker. So 0.1 vcore worker will contain 0.1 vcore and 500 MB memory. 0. Then we have like from 0.1, if you will go for this one is 500 MB memory. If you will go for 0.2, then 0.2 will contain 1 GB memory. Okay, after that we have 1 vcore. I think 0.5 no, 1 vcore we have. Okay, this 1 vcore will contain 2 GB of memory. Okay, so what we can do, we can do vertical scaling and we can increase this vcore and heap size, and based on that we will able to support more bigger file. Okay, so you can answer in this way and this should be 100% satisfactory. Now they will say, if they will ask maximum size supported by 0.1 vcore, then you can do one small POC and you can check. I think that is again depend on like how much processing you are doing, like what all processing you are doing. That also will be a small factor, but that will be a factor. Okay, now someone asked what is polling frequency and all in this file connector.
File pattern also.
Yeah, okay, that will come in advanced section. Okay, reconnection strategy also we will see. That read file. Okay, so that pooling frequency and file pattern, everything will come when we will use mule, this file operation, which is our source operation. This which will we need to configure is source one. This one, read, list, these all are not configured as a source operation. So what will be our source? This on new or update file. So this on new or update, okay, this can be also a one question, like when we want to read. Okay, so operation wise also they can ask what all operation we have in file connector. Okay, this one will be very important question only. What all operation we have in file FTP SFTP connector. Okay, so here you need to explain at least 3-4 operation, and that you must need to know about that operation. For example, on new or on upload on new or updated file. So what this operation will do, whenever there will be new file in source location, or whenever there will be there will be any update in file, in that case we will use this operation, and this operation must be configured in source. We can't configure anywhere else. Okay, so this can be another question, like which operation we can use in source system, which operation of file system we can use in source system, and which operation we can use in processor, in process section. So only this on new or update file we can use in source, other we will use in process. If you will drag and drop other in source, you will not able to drag and drop. Only on new or update file you can use there. Okay, and here you will able to see all this polling frequency and all. So first thing, what is polling frequency?
Connection polling frequency are both are same or different?
Connection pooling, reconnection strategy you are saying? Connection pooling, I'm not sure. Connection pooling, I haven't heard this term. Connection strategy is there, connection pooling is not there. Which operation we can configure in source part of flow? This question will not come very frequently, like second part, but the first part will come very frequently. Second part will come rarely, but yeah, sometime they ask. And then Yeah, this two will be one part. Now this part we already discussed what all operation we have. So we have on new or update file. So this operation will read any new file or any updated file in source system. Then we have read one. So in processing part, like whenever we want to read file in between our mule application, in between, like we started our mule application and in some business, to achieve some business logic, we need to read file. In that case we will use this read operation. So only difference between these two, this also read file, this also read file. This on new or update file must be on source, okay, must be our starting point. But this read operation, whenever our mule application will read file in between the process, okay. Then write file, whenever we want to write file in target system. Then we have list file, it will give us metadata about that particular directory, okay. Whenever we want metadata of particular directory, then we use this list one. Then rename, if we want to rename any file. Copy, if we want to copy any file into any folder location. We have move also, move, if we want to completely move file from one location to another location, okay. Create directory, if you want to create any folder in any file repository, then we use this create directory. So all this operation, like you should have basic idea, like in definition. Mostly they will ask most of the question on this on new or update file and this write file, okay. Now on new or update file, like first thing they will ask what is this pooling frequency, okay. So this pooling frequency is like how frequently we are going to read this file. So here you can see frequency is 1000 millisecond, that means 1 second. So every 1 second our file connector will go to particular folder directly and it will check that any file is there or not. If polling frequency is 1 second, so every 1 second it will create connection with that particular file directly and it will check is there any new file or updated file is there or not. If there will be any new or updated file, it will read all those new or updated file. If you don't want to run your application on fixed frequency, then we have cron job, okay. So what cron job means, here you can define one cron expression which will tell when you want to process your file. For example, you want to process in every 5 minutes, so you can define cron expression. If you want to run only on Monday at 12 p.m., so you can define cron expression. So where you will get syntax of cron expression, you need to Google it, mule cron expression. So here you can see in cron expression we have 7 terms: second, minute, hour, day of month, day of week, and year. So like here you can see we have multiple example, and here you will get what all keyword we are using, each keyword meaning. Star means all value, question mark means not specified value. If you want to put any range, then you can use hyphen. If you want to use multiple value, then you can use comma 1. Incremental value one, like by, then LW, these all has some meaning. So here this cron expression means run every 2 seconds of the day. Every day it will run in 2 seconds. Okay, so in this way, how we can define frequency and how we can define cron expression, you can explain. So question may come like this: what is Okay. This kind of question they may ask. So what you need to answer? You need to answer, if we want to define polling frequency, then we have one setting in file connector. There we need to select frequency and their time unit. Okay, so what it will do, it will read file in that particular frequency. If it is 5 minutes, so every 5 minutes it will go to file system and it will read file from that particular file system. Okay, and if we are like we want to write cron expression, then we have option in file connector we have one setting of cron expression, and we can define our cron expression there, and like it will read file whatever cron expression we will define. Based on that expression, it will define particular time and it will read that file on that particular time. Hope you are clear with this. Now next week question we have this on this file connector. Reconnection strategy. Okay, so in reconnection strategy you can see none, like we don't want to do reconnection. We have standard and we have forever. So forever means if there will be any connectivity issue, then it will keep retrying in this millisecond. 2000 millisecond means every 2 seconds it will keep retrying. If connectivity is not there, after 2 seconds it will check again. If not, then after 2 seconds it will check again, and it will keep checking. Okay, this kind of forever one, like I think no one will suggest you to use this forever one. Only for very rare business scenario we are using this. Generally we use this standard one. So in standard one you need to define two things. One is frequency, another one is attempts. Okay, so we will try for certain time, we will not keep trying. If we will keep trying, then our server will be busy there. Okay, so what we will do, if there will be any connectivity issue, we will try for 2 times or 3 times. So you can define here how many times we want, and then frequency, like how frequently we will try to connect with this file connector. So whenever we are doing any file exchange, first we need to make connection. Okay, if connection will fail, then we need to define reconnection strategy. Okay, and here we will define reconnection strategy of two type. One is fixed frequency, one is standard one, another one is like forever, and another one is none. If we don't want to try, then none. Only one time it will try, connection done, otherwise it will skip that one. Second part, forever one, it will keep retrying. That again, that one is not recommended one. Third one we have standard. Yes, this one is recommended one. So every, like you need to configure how many attempts you want to try maximum, and what will be interval between retry. Okay, so there should be some interval. Okay, so on file connector, like generally you will get this kind of question. I will keep checking, like if I am getting any other question, I will keep adding. Okay, this reconnection strategy is not only for this file connector, so I am making it as a common. Okay, this is so same for other connector also. So every connector has this reconnection strategy. What is spelling mistake here? Strat. Okay. and this is common for all connector. What is, I am missing all this spelling and all. See, what is reconnection strategy in connector? Okay, so hope this answer is clear. Okay, now moving to next question. Okay, let me